was the reaction of the people in your office? I mean, weren't they like, oh my God, you're doing hypnosis, don't do this, don't do that to me, don't look into my eyes and all that stuff, you know, all that?
I mean, I was the managing director, so, you know, most people weren't in and out of my office anyway, unless they came to say, can you help me with my migraines? There was an occasion we had an office Christmas party. You know, this is the mid-1990s, so we had a disco in one of the larger rooms. So basically it's dark, there are lights going, all the rest of it, and I'd had a glass or two of wine, probably. It was Christmas after all, and one of the girls from our telesales department, who I didn't know at all, came up to me while there's, you know, disco music going on, it's all very loud and whatever, and said, so you do hypnotism, do you? And I said, yes. She said, you couldn't hypnotize me? I said, no, you're probably right, I probably couldn't. She said, I'm much too strong-willed to be hypnotized by anybody. I said, well, yes, I'm sure you probably are, you know, enjoy the party. She said, aren't you going to hypnotize me then? I said, no, you've already told me that I can't hypnotize you. Why should I, you know? She said, well, go on, try, see if you can hypnotize me. Now, I would advise anybody these days never to do hypnosis for a bet. But like I say, this was, you know, 20 years ago.
On a Christmas party.
And a Christmas party, and I'd had a couple of glasses of wine. So I said, can I borrow your arm? And she said, all right. She was, dare I say, very attractive. And so I said, well, you know, I'm just going to run my hand down your arm 10 times. There'll be a rod of steel from your shoulders to the tips of your fingers. You won't be able to bend it no matter how hard you try. So I ran my hand down her arm 10 times, which was very nice for me anyway. And then I said, bend your arm. And she said, what have you done? What have you done? I said, well, I've hypnotized you. Go to sleep. And she was out on her feet. So that was fun. And by that time, of course, there was a little audience standing around. It's probably the closest I've ever come to doing stage hypnosis. But by and large, people, I suppose people who thought it was weird never came and knocked on my door and said, can you help me with this? But I wandered out into, we had a telesales department, and I wandered out once, and there was a girl, I forget her name now, she's about 20 years old, and she had terrible eczema on her elbows. And she said, can you do anything about it? And I knew she was very, she was a good subject because, like I say, I mean, I wasn't doing it professionally at the time, and I larked about a little bit, which was part of the experimentation. And I knew that I could tell her that the water she was drinking on her table was Beck's beer, and half an hour later she'd be a bit squiffy. So she was highly suggestible, highly hypnotizable. Anyway, she was worried about this eczema, and she was always scratching it. And at 2 o'clock on a Friday, I had her stand up, and I put my hands on her elbows and said, my hands are sponges. They're going to soak all the pain, irritation, aggravation out of your elbows so you can forget about them, because then she wouldn't scratch at them herself anyway. And you'll be fine. I mean, I didn't know if it would work. Actually, she also had really heavy-duty acne. But, she, you know, I wasn't doing anything about that. And I saw her at 5 o'clock just before she was leaving. I said, how are your elbows? She said, oh, I forgot about them. So that was nice. I saw her Wednesday of the following week. The eczema was completely gone. But also the acne had cleared up. Now, I hadn't done anything about the acne. Oh, I hadn't meant to. She was complete, and probably I didn't do anything about it, but she was completely convinced that because of what I'd done with her elbows, the acne had gone.
Double whammy.
And, just experimentation.